Well, here we are at the Burnham shipyard. I'm really excited. Harold's been cutting up some planking off of these giant, huge red oak logs, and the pictures have been really kind of cool. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about what we're doing, but we're also going to go up and look at some of the plans for the Beal. And this is our second episode here, shooting Harold working on getting ready for his project on the Sylvina Beal, which is sitting over here in the mud, really. But this is great. He's got a mill here, and he's working on red oak planking that he's cutting. And all of these pieces really go to specific parts of the vessel once he gets that going. So, on to the video about getting the planking ready and looking at some plans for the Sylvina Beal, which is going to be rehabbed. Well, after Harold had decided to take a break from cutting oak planks, we decided to go upstairs in the loft of his house where he designs and goes over the plans for the Sylvina Beal. And he told me a very interesting story about how he was able to learn how to do some of this marine architecture with the use of some tools that he got from an unexpected source.
These weights are ducks for bending splines, and each one of them has a little stamp on it. Where is it? Somewhere on here. It says WD. Oh yeah, here it is. You can see that one really clearly, WD. Yeah. That WD is William Duggan, and he went to MIT. He was a trained naval architect. And when I was building the Lewis Story, William Duggan came down and said, this old guy showed up, and I'm, up on the boat, cutting out heavy timber and throwing it around and just working like a fiend, like I always did. And old guy comes down and he says, did you do these drawings? And I'm looking, and right in front of him I have this little thing, and it says, Chabaco Boat Lewis Story, and I had a drawing of the boat. And I said, yeah. And he says, it looks like you could use some drafting equipment. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not like, L. Francis Herreshoff, but it shows what I needed to show. And he says, oh no, I don't mean to insult you, but you look like you could use some drafting equipment. He said, I'm going to be dead in 6 weeks. and when I'm dead, if you give me a card, I'll have my brother call you. He said, I'm a naval architect. I have all this equipment. And I said, gave him a card, and I said, well, thanks. You know, geez, that's awful nice of you. And, you know, but, you know, I didn't expect to be called. 6 weeks later, his brother called, said, my brother died and told me to give everything he had to you.
Wow.
And so almost all the drafting equipment you see here, all the paper, all the mylar, the vellum, all the stuff came from a man named William Duggan, who I only met for 18 seconds almost 30 years ago, almost 25 years ago. And but the man gave me a gift that I've used every year and in every boat I've built since. So.
Well, we had a great time over at Howard Burnham's, where he's been cutting oak planks for the rehabbing of the Sylvina Beale. And it was a great experience seeing how he does all this. But then to go up to his third floor in his house, where he works on the drawings for the rehabbing of the Beale, and learning his stories about how he gets started in this sort of thing, it was really, really interesting. Well, if you like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel and hit all notifications and give me a comment and a like. That would be great. The other thing is that take a look at kpnphototours.com. We've got some great workshops coming up in the spring. One up at the Inn at Sunset Hill in New Hampshire, Sugar Hill, New Hampshire, where we've got our waterfall, lupines and waterfall workshop going on. It's a great experience. We had a wonderful time up there last year. And then also in the spring, probably I think it's like a week and a half later, we're going to be here in Rockport and doing a KPN Photo Tours workshop down the street here at the Rockport Inn and Suites. And that's a full week, or I should say 3 days, of roaming around Gloucester, Rockport, Manchester, and Essex, learning about all the great places we have here and shooting at some extraordinary time for the light, which is in the spring is beautiful. So that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next week.